Hi, welcome back to the channel. I'm so excited that you're here. Today we're going to be talking about the worst things about living in San Diego. So let's go ahead and get started. I have people reaching out all the time and I absolutely love it. People are texting, calling, or emailing me, telling me that they're making the move here to San Diego in the next few months or even a year. And it's so wonderful to get started on planning on either if they want to buy a house or rent a house. So don't hesitate to reach out, or even if you're just reaching out with other questions about living in San Diego. Okay, first things first about living here in San Diego. You may not know, but they charge for grocery bags. So they made this change shortly after I moved here 7 years ago, that they don't give out grocery bags for free. So you go grocery store shopping, you need to bring your own bags, or you're gonna pay 10 cents per bag for them to put your groceries in. So yeah, initially when they were making this change, I was like, oh, that's really cool, cut down on the waste and the harm of the environment of all these plastic bags that we're using. But I don't know. I think it's not working out great just because there's not always ways to reuse the grocery bags. For example, I get my groceries delivered to my home, so there's not a way for me to have them put all my groceries in bags at my home. They pre-bag them before they drive and deliver here. So every week I'm buying probably 20, 30 bags, reusable bags at 10 cents, which is fine, but it does also add up. And now I feel terrible because instead of doing good for the environment and actually reusing these bags, they're thicker bags, so it's actually using more plastic and harming the environment. So I don't know. I wish that there was a way to recycle the bags so they were actually being used again, but there's not. So I don't know. I feel like it's kind of a bummer because it seemed like a cool program, but for situations like that, people getting their groceries delivered and things like that, it actually seems kind of worse for the environment. And yeah, it's just kind of annoying that like always being charged for bags, or even say when I do go into the grocery store, it's rare that I actually remember to bring my grocery bags in with me. So then I'm just buying more bags, and I have a whole bin in our garage of these bags. So maybe someday they'll figure out a way, a recycling them through the city, so that way they can be maybe washed or something and reused that way. But yeah, definitely don't love the whole bag situation. It can be annoying, and I think actually not as great for the environment. Okay, next, let's talk about how there's no transportation to get students to and from school. This is something that I was absolutely shocked at. I didn't have school-aged kids when we moved here, but once I found this out when my oldest daughter was going into kindergarten, my mind was blown that parents every single day are responsible for getting their kids to and from school. And mostly it shocks me because they had buses, but with the recession in 09 and 10, they got rid of them. Just making budget cuts, they got rid of the buses. So it shocks me though, because the schools in our area are not they were built for buses to go in and out of every day. They weren't exactly designed for hundreds of cars to come in and out every day at school drop-off and school pickup. So this is something that I find challenging. especially for working parents, that you have to be responsible for getting your kids to and from school. And I know it maybe doesn't sound like that big of a deal, but honestly, it's like I have 3 children, and there's going to be some years where I'm going to have a child at high school, junior high, and elementary school. So being responsible for getting your kids to different schools at similar times is really challenging. I've talked about this in other videos. The silver lining to it is it makes you motivated and others motivated in your neighborhood to have carpools and really get to know each other well and help each other out. So I like that aspect of it. But still, just for a state that usually prides itself in being environmentally friendly, for so many people having to hop in their cars and go to and from school doesn't exactly make sense to me. But I get it, the budget cuts, but it doesn't mean that I'm not depressed. Every time I drive on the 805 freeway, there's just this huge lot of hundreds of buses just sitting there. I don't know if they sometimes use them for field trips or what, but it's painful seeing that lot of all the unused buses. Okay, next we're going to talk about the cost of living in San Diego, because that is a adjustment that people that move here from different parts of the country may have to get used to. So I'm going to just kind of rattle some numbers off to you just to give you an idea. So for San Diego County, the median home price in August 2023 for a single family home is $1 million. And this in July 2023, a single family home was $969,000. So that's about a 3% increase month to month. But also, I mean, even with our interest rates increases over the last few weeks, our prices are continuing to rise. So yeah, affordability is kind of tight out here. And so from 2022 to 2023 so far, we've seen a 12% year over year increase in our median home prices. So yeah, it's expensive to live here because, you know, we absolutely love being by the beach and having the beautiful sun most days out of the year. So absolutely love that. And then, so let's talk about gas prices. Right now, the average gas price here in California is $6.05. In San Diego County, it's $6.20, and this is in October 2023. And the national cost of gas, the national average is around $4. So as you can see, our gas prices as a state are higher, and then in San Diego, they're actually slightly higher than the state average. So, and that can fluctuate. Next, let's talk about electricity, because this is something that surprised me. You know, when we moved here 7 years ago, we moved here from Arizona. So I was thinking, oh my gosh, we're going to save tons of money because we won't be paying for our air conditioning in the summer. Yeah, our first year we lived here before we bought a home, we rented a house for a year, and I was blown away by how much the electricity cost. So let's see, it says, so for electricity here in San Diego, it's 39 cents per kilowatt. It's 26% higher than the average electricity rate in California. And the average residential electricity rate in San Diego County is 130% higher than the national average for the kilowatt. So the national average per kilowatt is 17 cents, and here in San Diego, it's 39 cents. So it's 130% higher out here. So yeah, we combated this by our home that we purchased had paid for solar, which I'm so grateful for. It's definitely something that I think is super underrated. It's incredible to have paid for solar at that, right? Our electricity bill is super affordable now. In the summer months, we're usually only paying a couple dollars, even though we have 2 AC units and keep our house at a really nice, cool degrees, cool temperature all through the summer. So that's a way to combat the higher cost of the electricity that I highly recommend if you make the move out here to San Diego, is investing in solar or finding a home to purchase that has solar already. Okay, something else I have to mention, and it may seem kind of petty, but also when you have 3 kids and they're all doing a few sports and extracurricular activities, our kid activities and sports seem higher. I have a lot of friends in Arizona and Utah where, they're paying maybe 75 or maybe at most like 120 per kid to play soccer, let's say. And out here, that costs $200. So you can see how this can quickly add up when you have a few kids and they all want to do a few activities, is the cost of kid extracurricular activities just really adds up quickly. So that's something you need to consider if you have a few kids. So another thing when talking about cost of living that we need to talk about is home insurance. So this is something that San Diego, it's the average cost of home insurance is $1,383 dollars per year. And this is for an insurance policy for a 300,000 dwelling unit. So that price is under the national average. Florida is actually the most expensive state for home insurance. I think just so many natural disasters there, right? But out here in San Diego, we're seeing some home insurance companies leaving, not even offering policies here, and they're doing that because wildfires, right? So increased risk. And then also because our home prices are so high already and have especially increased over the last 5 years, just the cost to replace a home has gone up, and labor out here is expensive and things like that. So home insurance has been increasing over the last few years, and I know like State Farm has just pulled out of our area completely. I know for our home we experienced where we noticed our home insurance going up quite a bit over the last couple years. My husband was able to find a policy that worked well for us, that was more affordable, but our current one kept creeping up over the last 3 years. So yeah, that's another factor of cost of living that you have to be mindful of, is our home insurance. Okay, and we can't talk about living here in San Diego without talking about the traffic. Ooh, sorry, my watch. The traffic. So honestly, total transparency, our traffic is a lot worse in the summer just with all the tourists here. So the 5 freeway can get quite congested. And so if you're commuting, you need to plan accordingly to the traffic. In the winter months, I don't notice it nearly as bad. So yeah, our traffic, just like any city, can be bad. I feel like this is something that maybe is overly talked about in California. I don't notice San Diego to be horribly worse or anything. I definitely think San Diego has a lot less traffic than LA, and so yeah, maybe that's why I think it's not so bad. But obviously, big city, there's going to be some traffic, right? So you can combat this with, if you are commuting to downtown San Diego, taking the coaster that goes northbound and southbound from southern San Diego to all the way to Oceanside multiple times a day. That's a great option. And the Amtrak train, if you are needing to commute to LA, is really awesome. There's a train station in Oceanside you can hop on and commute on a train to Orange County or LA. All right, I don't think I held anything back on this video on things you have to consider if you're moving to San Diego, and sharing some of my least favorite things of San Diego. Let me know if this was helpful, and if you have any other questions in the comments, and also don't hesitate to reach out via text or email or a phone call. I would love to hear from you. Thanks. Bye.